You hit your $1 million in 5 months, which is really awesome and really kudos to you. So what steps or method did you update to hit this particular milestone? I know you did more than that, but in 5 months you hit $1 million. So what kind of steps you changed in this journey?
None of these illusions of business and money and success and people and reputation ever get to us. But the moment we start believing in that bullshit, that's when life starts getting very empty inside. No matter how much you get, you don't feel anything inside. Anything you have doesn't make you feel anything inside.
After hitting your first 1 million, you have a downfall in your business. So what was the mistakes happened there? Like if you want to share with us, what was the mistakes was there? So the people who is started making that much of amount or might be their first 6-figure, they avoid that mistake. So welcome to the Entrepreneurs Warrior Show. This is where we interview with coaches, consultant, and awesome entrepreneurs. And in this amazing series, we have a super awesome guest with us. You are able to see him on the screen. He is Armin Shafee, and he is the coach of coaches, founder of highticketcoaching.com, and he sold over $1 million of coaching. So without further ado, we have already Armin on the stage. So hi, Armin. Thank you so much for joining the Entrepreneurs Warrior Show. Really awesome to have you. So you suddenly might be thinking like, how suddenly I am here? This is an interview that we did with Armin. And in this interview, we had a lot of great takeaways. And this particular interview is giving you lots of ideas, insight about life, about business, and how you can actually become successful in this industry. I recommend you, highly recommend you, please watch this interview till the end. Don't miss any single part from this interview. It is an interview that I can say I did a best interview on my show, and you don't have to miss it. If you are watching it this video, that means you are just at starting of this interview. I highly recommend you please watch this interview till the end, and best of luck. Go for it.
An honor to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes. So Armin, you are a coach of coaches. So how does this journey begin? Like what inspired you to become a coach, and what is the backstory of yours? Because your story is really inspiring me. I read your story at the age of 17, but I want to listen from you.
Yeah, I think when you get into the business of wanting to help people, it always starts with you naturally gravitate towards wanting to help. And so I remember when I was like a kid in high school, and I used to give advice to my friends just like with how to handle, pressured situations or solve problems in their life, or even how to talk to a girl if they're nervous. But I was always so interested in helping people, and I was good at it. I would sit down and be like, I want to help this person with how to figure this out. And it started really early on. And because I used to love solving problems for myself, for my family, for my friends. And then eventually I didn't know it was possible to build a business around this. I saw Tony Robbins one day when I was 20 years old, and I saw him solving all these problems for people and then paying so much money. And I'm like, look at his life. It's perfect. He has all his money. He has all his attention. He has all this love in his life. He's fulfilled. He's, having so much excitement and fun. I'm like, I want to live this kind of life. And so it kind of starts by being inspired, being inspired by what's possible for you. And the only belief I had to have sitting in that room was, if he can do it, I can do it. And so that's kind of how it starts. I mean, this whole game of life with wanting to do something with your life starts by being inspired by other people. That's why we are like lights to other people in the world.
And that is something really a biggest moment of your life, that where you decided like, yes, I want to do something. If I can also. And that's where you follow this journey, right? Awesome. I mean, you also have this framework called viral marketing. And this one framework itself help you to attract a lot of quality leads and a lot of closing sales and all. So can you please share this format of how someone can replicate this same system format, or how exactly it is looking like? Can you please share with us?
So the way I found out about viral marketing was first, I was selling a lot of people into the program, and I'm like, how can I really help these people? And when it came to marketing, like I'm not a marketer. Like, I'll be honest, I'm not a marketer. I'm not really even a businessman. Like, I see myself as like, even in sales, I'm not a sales guy. I just see myself as a teacher. I'm really good at teaching. I like teaching, and I like to figure things out. And I'm good at articulating the things I figure out to people who have a hard time articulating it to themselves. So when it came to the idea of marketing, I'm like, all right, well, we got to understand marketing so I can teach this. I just realized something. I realized, okay, in the organic world, Facebook and Instagram, I'm like, what naturally, obviously marketing is just getting attention. That's really all it is, getting attention and interest in what you have to sell. I thought, like, what's the most attention grabbing things out there? And it's not what you think. It's not the whole like, oh, I'll give you this thing for this time, or like, look at this. It's not like the clickbaity stuff. I remember one day I was just scrolling on Facebook, and I saw this post of my friend from like middle school. Like, I haven't seen her in a long time. And it just said she just got engaged. And it was like 600-700 likes on that post and hundreds of comments, people just saying, hey, congratulations. And I remember seeing that and I'm like, I haven't seen her in such a long time. And then I'm seeing in the comments all these other people that I haven't heard about from a long time. I'm like, how come this post went viral? And that caught my attention. I'm like, it's so interesting. Like 700 likes on a post that she got engaged. I'm like, interesting. And I kept scrolling. And another day I remember I saw someone just got a job somewhere. Like, go just started work at this place. You know when they do that on Facebook? Again, 200, 300 comments, all this stuff. I'm like, this is so interesting. Now, when I was being obsessed with marketing at the time, I'm like, I want to understand what's making these posts go viral. Yeah. And I realized there's a category of different types of content out there that go viral based off human nature. Human nature meaning it's just natural for us to do that or to comment on or want to engage with it. And it's always based around some form of pivoting point in our life, which is usually like a story, right. Some form of celebration or some big milestone. And so I remember, like, I thought, if you post that you're getting married, it goes viral. You post that you just graduated from university and got a certificate, it goes viral. Even if you post that you graduated something, it's just a regular program, it goes viral. You put it's your birthday, it goes viral. You put someone, passed away in your family, you go to a funeral, it goes viral. It's a pivoting point in your life. You put that you just, got engaged or anything, any form of something just happened in my life that's dramatic. Yeah. People just want to gravitate towards and engage. And it's funny because I remember when I put out like my first $50,000 a month in business or my first time I launched my business or anything that like I was starting out, people from like my elementary school that I haven't talked to just I don't know were comments on the post. I'm like, that's so weird because like they're always there, those people, but they're not engaging. And so it's this putting out content. Like this is a good line for everyone. Great marketing doesn't feel like marketing. And so great marketing is very personal. Like when I put out stuff that go viral, it has nothing to do with my offer. It has very little to do with like what I have to sell. And it's not marketing at all. It's just storytelling. It's dramatic events in my life and it's things like that. So I just really got obsessed with the idea of virality because it just makes business easier. Because if one or two posts go viral in a week, you pretty much got leads for a week or two to just book calls. And we've made hundreds of thousands of dollars from just a few groups going viral in it with a simple story. And so the better we got at story marketing and storytelling and highlighting moments in our life or in our clients' lives, the more and more we start to see success. And so it's really just that virality is about hitting that formula of like human nature, like naturally what a person wants to respond to, and just doubling down on that, leveraging that to get attention for your offer instead of trying to be a marketer or a copywriter, all this stuff and trying to like convince people to want to care. We just go into the same flow of what everyone's already caring about, which is what's happening in people's life. It's funny because like organic marketing is social media marketing. And it's like, you got to focus more on the social, less on the media. And that's kind of what people are making the mistake of, like focus more on the social, less on the media. Everyone's trying to put out media and marketing. No one's trying to put out social. So all of our viral organic marketing strategies are based on social marketing. Like it's social. It's like, look at my life, look at your life. And everything's very personal and social. It's about my life, what's going on there. And that's what we teach. That's working really well.
That's really awesome. And this is something when you are mentioning like any stuff from your life, any personal thing from your life. And I personally see some viral content from my own profile itself. Like when we have a co-founder of Mind Valley, I announce it on my profile. Like we have Christina Mendlakiani on my show. So I see lots of comment. Like many people are, I didn't saw them, as you mentioned, like your childhood friends or your school friends. Same with me, like the people who didn't engage with me from a long time are also commenting on my content. So that's really powerful things. And you mentioned like storytelling is also something really help us to get some virality or getting some more attention. So are you following any step-by-step framework to write any kind of stories for your content, or you are just randomly writing it? You have any step-by-step framework?
Yeah. So like when you start doing as long as me, I kind of just know what makes a good story. So I just write it the way I would like to read it. Mm-hmm. For a thinking strategy, just sit down and go, if I read this, would I want to read this? And it's like, if you wouldn't want to read it, why do you expect other people to want to read it? And a lot of people just don't do that part. They go unconscious when they're writing stuff or building things. They'd never ask themselves, would I want this? Would I pay for this? Would I want to read this? And it's like, if you wouldn't, why would anyone else? So you just have a level of consciousness you need. Like you have to be conscious as you're doing it. So, is this good? Like, do I think it's good? And I think most people just don't do that. In terms of framework, I keep it really simple. You just, it's like, I taught this to my 2 and Elite challenge, in my Facebook group. It was like a month ago. It's just a 5 or 6 step framework. It's like, you always want to set the setting so that they just feel relatable to the character and like you, and where were you? Like, when was it? When, what was it? All that stuff, just a simple thing so that they can see the scene. Then from there, you just explain what you wanted, like the goal. From the goal, you go on to what the plan was. From the plan being executed, you go into the problems you faced from that plan. And then from the problems, you go into like the pain, like the moment of like, the problem, the pain are the same, like how bad it got and what, why it didn't work out. Then you come up with the discovery, which is the thing that the new thing that you're talking about. It's like, hey, I figured this out. And then the results from implementing that new thing you discovered. And that's pretty much it. Like that's what a really good, it's a very simple framework of usually everything you write or everything you say should follow that kind of framework. There's obviously more elaborate ones like, there's Story Selling is a great book, and the hero's journey. Like there's a lot of more in-depth stuff, but overall, those 5 or 6 steps that I just said is pretty much, if you just get good at doing that really well, that's like 80% of the way,
That's awesome. Yes. And when we just, what you mentioned is when we make things very simple and easy, it's very awesome. Like we have to make things very simple. That's the main formula to become a successful in this industry, right?
Yes.
Awesome.
If it's not simple, it doesn't make you want to do it. And it doesn't matter how good it is or advanced it is. If you don't do it, it's crap. Even if I have the cure to cancer, but it's too complicated to, use it to cure my cancer, I probably will sit there and just die of cancer because it's so complicated to actually implement the solution. So complication is really the enemy. It's not knowing what to do. It's not doing what you know. And usually what you know is simpler things that you just won't do.
That's really a golden nugget we have just now. Because most of the time we know this stuff. Most of the time we know, but the reason we are not doing it because of our own limiting belief, procrastination, and all those kind of things, right? Awesome.
Well, I would say this before you create in your mind a made up and imaginary problem of limitation. Just simplify everything and see if you still want to do it.
Right.
Most of the time it's just complex. Like people are confused. If it was really simple and you still don't do it, then we could say you have a self-image issue. Maybe someone told you early in your life that you're crap and you believe that. And so you just behave that way. But I think most people's problems are just confusion. Like if you're clear on what your offer is, you would just go and sell it. If you're clear on how to sell, you go sell. If you're clear on what to put out in marketing, you would probably do marketing. If you're clear on what to do with your day, you probably wouldn't procrastinate. So it's just a lot of confusion and complexity. Get rid of those things before you decide to believe that there's some imaginary block inside you that you don't have the internal skills to be able to go and find and solve. Because I think that's a good excuse. It's a cop-out. That like everything's complex, you're barely focused, you have way too much going on. You go, it's me, I'm the problem. I think that's just overly done nowadays because personal development makes you believe that take 100% responsibility. You're the reason why your results are this way. Yes, but not the way you think. Not because you're not enough or good or bad or none of that. It's probably because your choices have complicated everything. So just undo your choices until it's simple again. Then if you're in a simple environment and you still won't do anything, now we can question, do you really want this thing? Because the person really wants me will do it. Like they won't make excuses for why they won't do it. They're just finding reasons to not do it because they don't want to do it. So it's like, do you really want the goal you have? Or do you want to do the work for that goal? Because you need to want both. You can't just want the goal and not the process. You have to love both. Or is it like, do you just believe like you can't do this because something happened early in your life and you just believe that's the life now? And those are really the only very simple things. And we could easily find that, but you got to make sure you clear up. Like you can't say you're a bad driver when you can't see through the windshield, right? My windshield's dirty and I don't have any washer fluid, which has happened before in the wintertime. Washer fluid's gone and I'm like wiping out, that white stuff on the windshield. I can't see anything. I'm like looking through people. I'm going to crash. You can't say I'm a bad driver. I just can't see clearly. But if I clear off the windshield and still I drive into a car, now you could say, who gave you your license? So that's when you question if you're a good driver or not. But I think most entrepreneurs are just simply not seeing clearly. That's it. If you see them clearly, then you could say this person just doesn't know how to drive because with everything clear, they still, are swerving between lanes, And so that's like the power of what coaching and mentorship is. It's like I invest into people to clear up my windshield. So I'm just clear on what it looks like. And then I know I could just get it done if I see clearly. But that's like 90% of the time the problem is just you don't see clearly. So clean off the windshield. That's what coaching's for.
Yeah, that's really a bulb on idea we have right now and mic drop because there is one more example. It is like this person is, I'm not exactly remembering that, but it is related to the point that you just mentioned, like the driver is not able to see because the shade is not clear from himself. And he's thinking that the other person has some issue and kind of thing, right? That's a great idea you have. And really people need to work on this kind of things. You hit your $1 million in 5 months, which is really awesome and really kudos to you. So what steps or method did you update to hit that this particular milestone? I know you did more than that, but in 5 months you hit $1 million. So what kind of steps you changed in this journey?
Well, just to clear up the confusion. So it took me from start to finish, 15 months to cross $1 million.
Right.
But I got stuck around 13 months in. I got stuck at 400 grand. So it took me 13 months to make 400 grand, 12 or 13 months doing it like complicatedly. And then when I dove into like viral organic and going higher ticket and like all the stuff we teach now, within 60 days, we did another 600, 700,000. We crossed the $1 million mark within like 60 days. And so, but from the moment we started like really implementing organic, it was like 5 months. That's why it's like, it sounds like we made $1 million in 5 months, but we made it. Yeah. It took us 15 months to cross the first million, but it only took us like four to 5 months to make the second million because we got so good. So we cut time in half. Right. Then by the third million, it was just another like 3-4 months, and we just got really good at this. And so, but the beauty was like we got stuck in 6 figures for like 13 months. Once we cracked virality and just cleaning up our business, within 60 days we did more than what we did in 13 months and 1/6 of the time, which crossed us for the 2CC award. So I just wanted to clear that up. But what was your specific question about that? What do you mean by steps?
What kind of strategies or something that you update to hit the number that you are desired to achieve? Like system update, team update, or product changes, or what?
Not product changes, not CRM changes, not hires, none of that. One is I sat down with my team and all of us decided we're going to do this in harmony, like together. And we all started to visualize every morning us making the $1 million mark in that certain period of time. There's 5 of us, 5 different minds. Every morning we're spending 20, 30 minutes just meditating, visualizing the idea of our companies crossing this and winning that award. That is actually the way it was done, because everything past that doesn't matter. Because if you do that with your company, if you're watching this, your plan on how you hit that million or whatever you're trying to hit will be different than mine. But the denominator is if you can tune in all of the minds involved with this goal to one idea, one singular purpose, and use the power of the subconscious mind, then through you guys or through one of you, the idea for how you're going to hit it will come. And so you will hit it. It doesn't mean that the thinking is making you achieve it. The thinking brings you the plan on how to achieve it. And so for us, we sat down, we masterminded together, and we came up with one idea. And that idea actually wasn't the plan that got us the 600,000. It was the plan that came after, while we implemented our idea. The plan from infinite intelligence, your sixth sense, like the plan from outside of your own thoughts came. And one day it hit us. We're like, yo, we should do this. But that we would have never figured that out if we didn't take action on the current plan we came up with, which was a bad plan. And so in the middle of that, we figured that out, and we went on. We had like a $200,000 day, and then we finished off with like 600,000 in like just July alone. And so like it really changed everything for us. But I would say the actual change, the real change, was the spiritual thing, not a business thing. I know it sounds odd to people who are very logical minded, but just think for a moment. Your logic and your rationale doesn't really give you explosive, unreasonable growth. It gives you sustainability and maintenance over the growth. So you need to learn how to balance. If you're a logical thinker, a rational thinker, I always say this to a person, like, that's an awesome thing to have as like a partner, or if you are the person maintaining a business, because you need to be risk averse. You want to be strategic in your decision. You want to maximize effectively your resources. So that takes rational and logical thinking, like intelligence, like sit down and think about things. But creative energy is where really the magic happens. Creative energy is your ability to download like a crazy $1 million idea, or to be able to move and inspire people to go into action with you. Creative energy is where you have unrealistic results. Whereas logical energy is more like where you have the sustainability of growth. So in other words, if you're trying to explode your business, like you want to break things or break records, and you got to dive deeper into the spiritual part of business and into the mind. And you got to use creative energy and to really like emotionalize and sensitize the insides of you experiencing the business. Because through that, you'll get the eureka moment. And those eureka moments simplify everything. It makes your windshield super crystal clear. You go, I know what to do. And that just takes massive action. Logically, if you think about it, if I'm super clear, I take massive action, inevitably is going to give me better results than if I take logical, slower action. But then you need the logic. You need to come in after to go, how do we sustain this? And that's the part we missed. So even after making the $1 million, I actually, we made another $1 million, but we started making less and less profit. We started to spend all our money. And my business actually had a very, very bad downfall 6 months after making my first $1 million. That was my first, my second, I would say, really big learning experience, losing everything I built. But it's because I didn't add any type of strategic thinking afterwards about how do we keep growing this. I just kept trying to exhaust my creative energy. And it got really exhausting. And now it's like the company is in perfect balance. Now my co-founder is straight logical, is running everything, sustaining. So it's a beautiful balance. And I come in every now and then with a shot of that creative energy, that inspiration. I'm like, here's what we should do. And it just works perfectly. And it's like 80% of it's not even in my hands anymore. My team does it. I just come and I'm just coaching all day. Like I'm coaching every single day almost. Someone asked me like, what's your day in the life for Armin? I'm like, literally, like I coach my team in the morning and I coach clients at night, in the evening, in the afternoon. That's it. That's all I do. I'm sure that's the dream of every coach or every expert or every teacher or whatever out there that has a dream for this kind of business. Like I really just show up to team meetings. I train my sales team. I teach them. Then I go into my team meeting and I teach them how to organize themselves better so they can, believe in themselves and do something better. Then I go into the afternoon and I teach all my clients. And then the evening, I just have my own time to myself. It's like, I'm just teaching the whole day. I'm just coaching, teaching, mentoring, training the whole time, just pouring into people every week. It's crazy. It's pretty crazy. I don't do any management anymore or anything like that, but you got to get to that point. You got to teach and develop, build your people so much so that eventually they don't need you. And so that's when it becomes like this. Yeah.
That's really a crazy stuff you just mentioned. Like and one point that you mentioned is, but you have to reach to that point when you are mentioning like in the morning and in the evening, I'm teaching to my coach, to my team member, to my clients. But on this point, you need to reach out. You have to become the person to reach that level. That's really awesome. And in this particular conversation, you also mentioned like, after hitting your first 1 million, you have a downfall in your business. So what was the mistakes happen there? Like if you want to share with us, what was the mistakes was there? So the people who is started making that much of amount or might be their first 6 figure, they avoid that mistake.
Yeah, I'll actually give you, this is a great question, man. I'll give you a few. The first big thing that I did, and again, mistakes are not really mistakes because at the time when you do them, it feels right. It feels good. You don't really know that, you don't see it as a mistake when you're in the moment. When you look back, you go, I should have done it differently. But that's just called regret. And I think regret is just misperceived lessons. So I want to make this clear. Like, I don't regret anything. Everything happened perfectly the way it is. I love everything I have now, who I am now. And so none of them were mistakes. They're actually supposed to happen exactly that way.
Yeah.
So in that way, it's really a lesson, but I misperceive it as a mistake. And so I want to make that clear. But one of those mistakes was a lesson I learned was making too many big decisions too quickly. So as soon as, when you make a lot of money, it really changes things. Your options open up, you change, your ego gets bigger. And so in that time, I decided 3 major big things that I wasn't prepared for. I wasn't ready for. If I had made just one of those changes at a time, I would have been able to sustain myself and not lose everything. But the first one is I decided to just start traveling. As soon as I made all this money, I was in an office for 6-7 months straight focused. I went from being in a momentum, in a habit of just getting shit done to like traveling. I went to LA, I went to Miami, and I just left my I would say my momentum zone, like where I was building. I left my zone, like where I was working. I was used to making videos and working. So I essentially changed. And as I'm in LA, I'm deciding I don't even want to live in Canada anymore. I'm like, I want to live, somewhere else. And so now I made a huge decision to change where I want to live, which means I reset all of the environment that I was already used to working in high momentum in. So that was a big change I made, and I wasn't ready for it. But if I had just done that, at least that would have been one change to handle. But not only that, I met a girl at the time, and I really liked her, and I decided to start building a relationship with her. And building a relationship and building a business is equally as hard. Okay, so it takes your focus, your energy, your priority. I'm not saying it's hard in a bad way. I mean, like if you are going to say yes to building something with someone, be ready for that decision because it takes a capacity out of you. Same way you have to raise a child, same way you want to build a business. So I decided to start a whole relationship, right? And so give a lot of energy to that while changing where I live. And at the same time, because of these 2 decisions, I decided I'm just going to delegate everything to my team. So I decided I don't need to be CEO anymore because this is all pretty much figured out. We just made 600 grand last month. I'm fine. So I just gave it to my co-founder and my team. I'm like, you guys just keep doing this and, just do it without me. You don't need this. And so I delegated. I tried to replace myself as CEO. I started a relationship and I changed where I was living all at the same time, like in a 30-day span. And so that really hit me hard. I remember sitting there, I'm like 5 months later, I'm like depressed. I'm like sitting there, I'm like, I lost everything. What happened? The relationship I don't like, the business is not anywhere close to, like I was getting a lot of refunds and people were just not feeling connected to me and like everything was bad. The team wasn't able to handle anything. And I felt like I was living out of a suitcase because I couldn't figure out where to live. So that really messed me up. So that's the one big lesson I learned from that time. The second one is when I remember when I hit the $1 million thing, it went straight to my head and I started to like get attached to the identity of what I am.
Yes.
And I stopped loving the process of who I am. So like it started to bother me that if I didn't make more money than last month, that was a bad thing. And a lot of people, I think, get stuck in this trap. Like you hit 100 grand a month once or 50 grand a month once, and then you go next month it's 20 grand. I'm a piece of shit. Like this, it's not fair Because the actual natural growth of a company, majority of companies, there's exceptions, is you hit big growth spurts and then you kind of not decline, but you stabilize it. So you can go internally and build things out. Because like if you sell a bunch of people, then you got to want to kind of spend time going inwards, not just trying to push for more people. You almost want to slow down sales so that you can go in and work with those people and build out a better program. And so I didn't think about that. And so I felt bad knowing that every month I wasn't making more money. So we made a $650,000 a month and then we only had like a $280,000 a month. I'm like, this is so bad. I remember sitting there, I'm like, I'm such an asshole. I just made 280 grand and I'm upset about that. So I had enough like consciousness to sit and go, well, that's not cool what I'm doing, but it didn't change how I felt because I genuinely believed that I am what my reputation is, which was the false, it was the false ego. So all of that kind of accumulated until eventually I realized like, I don't feel happy at all because I'm trapped in who I need to be, I'm not comfortable in my connection with who I am. I'm trapped in who I'm saying I am. And if that doesn't always match my reality, I feel like I'm being a fraud. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs get stuck in this where they go, man, I made 100 grand once, but I never did it again. So now you just feel like a fraud artist out there, like saying people, I'll show you this, but you're like, you yourself are like only making 40. Like that's not, you can't get trapped in that. It's just ego. So letting my ego essentially take the wheel was probably the second lesson that I learned from. Because when I was starting and with how I got to that first million, it wasn't ego. It was pure faith. A lot of connection to something bigger than me, building my team. And then it turned into it went from I build my team and my team helped me hit my goal with me to my team owes me and they should get this shit done. And why are they doing it right? So I went from seeing my team as the business, which is how I got to the first million, to seeing my team as in the way of my business if they weren't good enough. And that made me a very toxic leader. Like it made me very like a tyrant. And it was really hard that's why clients were probably leaving and like I was losing people. And so, the second lesson was like letting my results make me believe I'm something else now, or I'm better than others. And I learned that really, really fast in those 5 months. So those are the couple of big things, like making too many decisions at once, which is kind of like 3 mistakes right there. Like don't move as soon as you start,
Right.
doing well. Like don't start traveling. A lot of people are like, I just want to travel. If you're trying to build a company, don't travel. I'm dead serious. Like if you want to build a company, focus at least for a year, and then you can travel as much as you want, but have systems in place. If you're a freelancer or whatever, you just want to make some cash and travel, then do your thing. If you're trying to build something, it requires momentum. It's like if you're driving a car, you want to catch 200 kilometers speed on the racetrack, you don't just stop for a coffee. Like you have to keep driving. You know what I mean? Like you don't just get out of the car for no reason. So it's changing where I was, my momentum zone. It's starting a relationship with the middle of it. The relationship wasn't the problem. It was that I was not in a place to have capacity to start one. Right. And the girl was really, really awesome. Like I really felt bad because I wasn't really great in the relationship because I wasn't focused on it. I wasn't prioritizing it. And the third one is delegating everything just blindly. Like, yeah, you guys should take it over. You can do it. And I really didn't prepare them to take over. And that was my fault. So those things, letting my ego get to my head, that was a lot of the things. And I would say that not taking time to go internally, like the biggest thing was going internally and building out the business properly. Because my strength is always marketing and sales. Like I can go out there and promote, and like I love psychology and people, so I know how to get their attention and want them to want to buy stuff. But what I didn't like doing, but I was good at, was going inside and building out the program, making it better, helping with systems, all that stuff we did, last year instead of the year before. Because 2 years ago I hit the million. We started doing it too late. Like we started tracking things and measuring things and paying attention to our customers way too late. And so that was a lot of the things that we did wrong, like after the $1 million. But I would say if I were to sum up all of it in the one big lesson is don't give the wheel to your ego as soon as you get there, because your ego is gonna be very convincing and make you think it's because of your ego that you're there, like what you believe about yourself or how good you are. And you start believing that, you completely different decisions. And those decisions are actually very bad. Usually they're very toxic or they just cause you issues. I would even say oppose the ego by having a counter strategy to go deeper into your heart as soon as you make money. So like if I were to ever teach Millionaire now, which I'm creating more this year, we already have a few that's happened early in this year so far. Now I'm like, as soon as you cross 100 grand, a month, like the $1 million run rate, I'm going to go double down into your team leadership and like helping them more. So go in and like elevate your team more. Find a way to give back to them, because if you can offset your ego by keeping it in check by going, if we make more, we're going to give more and help more and do more, then the ego doesn't take the wheel. And even the more money you make, I with my clients, I'm like, let's go deeper into spirituality. Let's go deep into understanding yourself and understanding God, understanding, the laws that create existence in life. And so you expand beyond just this illusion of money is something, or the illusion of success, because they're all illusions. Like we're all just human. Now let's like you and me are just human. You be on that side, me on this side. What's in my bank account? What's in your bank account? It doesn't matter. We're still human. We're equal. All of us are the same beautiful creation of what's called a human creature. And so like when we get closer to that truth, none of these illusions of business and money and success and people and reputation ever get to us. But the moment we start believing in that bullshit, that's when life starts getting very empty inside. No matter how much you get, you don't feel anything inside. Anything you have doesn't make you feel anything inside. It just gets worse and worse and worse. This person, how a person becomes a drug addict. They start off with a little bit of drug. It makes them feel good. Eventually, it doesn't feel enough. So they have to do more. Then they got to do more. Then they got to do harder and even more intense drugs. Eventually, they're just sitting there like an addict, because what they don't realize, the unhealthy part of those decisions is the drugs aren't the problem. One person does like a drug once. It doesn't change their life. It doesn't do anything for them. Same way a salad doesn't make you skinny, burger doesn't make you fat. But the problem is that they've lost consciousness. They're so unconscious now. They're not realizing they're not happy inside. There's a gap inside of themselves, their own heart, their own gut. They don't feel fulfillment. They don't feel like connected to anything in their life. And they're trying to stimulate artificially that feeling through stimulus, like, drugs and sex or alcohol or partying or, attention. People that are attention addicts, like, oh, I want to be in the spotlight all the time. Tell me I'm nice. Tell me I look good. They're just being addicted to trying to feel good about themselves, because that's the problem. Isn't what they're doing. The problem is that they bought the illusion that they are what other things are make them feel like, and they're not. What you feel like is about your connection to yourself, not to the things you have. So it's like staying completely present and conscious. The more and more you gain in the illusion of life is the only way you offset the trap of life itself, or at least the Western world, like what success is. Success is a trap, man. Like, I'm going to be honest with everyone. Like, failure is an opportunity. Success is a trap. Failure and poverty. I grew up poor. I grew up in a struggling family in a terrible neighborhood. That was an opportunity. It gave me meaning for the things I love and things I wanted to learn. It gave me a purpose. I'm insecure, so I want to go learn to be confident. I don't have money, so I want to learn how to make money. It gave me opportunity. Poverty and failure taught me more than my success ever did. Poverty and failure, these things that everyone's trying to avoid and hate, I love them more than my success. I owe them more. If they were entities, like if they were like people, I would spend 90% of my time loving and thanking my poverties and my failures and the bad things that happened in my life, because there were opportunities for me to expand myself as a human being, to expand what my deliciousness of life, so I can learn more, but get more meaning, because there's a purpose to doing something, because I didn't like what was happening. But my successes were traps. First million was a trap. It made me forget everything I was. Like having a big milestone was a trap. Hiring big famous people to join my team was a trap. Any form of, oh, I'm making it, look at me, I'm better than others, it's just a trap. If there's anything you take away from this interview, it's that failure is an opportunity, but success is a trap. So treat success for what it is, a trap. In that way, be ready for it, and don't be fooled by it. I'd rather continuously fail, like as I grow, than to always be in a successful state, because that means you're dead. And it's just, you just bought this illusion that like you made it. You don't make anything. The idea of done does not exist. I was teaching this in my elite mastermind last week. The concept of finishing or done does not exist. The only thing that's done ever in life is death. That's done. Do you want to die? Are you in a rush to die? Because that's finishing. That's fit. But in our ever eternal beingness, like being alive, every part of our being wants to keep going, doesn't want to finish. And everyone's stressing themselves out because like, we're not done yet. We haven't hit that market. We haven't hit that income. We didn't finish the business. Like, who cares? The only fun is in the continuously building it and doing it. So why are you in a rush to finish? I'm not talking about finishing tasks on your project list or anything. That's a different story. I'm talking about the rush and the stress about making sure you reach a certain point. I don't care where I reach. I hope my journey never ends. If I like dancing to a song, man, I don't want the song to end. Are you in a rush for the end of the song? Is it a competition? Who gets to the end of the song faster? No. Yeah. You're dancing because you just enjoy dancing. Life should be this way. Business should be this way. That it's just a song I love dancing to. I just want to keep dancing. I'm not in a rush. In fact, slow down the song. Play it forever. This is how now all these failures have taught me to live. And I don't care about the success anymore. That's why I'm immune. I can't lose because I'm not playing a game anymore. And that's the biggest breakthrough I had. I was like, I can't lose because I don't care about winning anymore. If you know what I mean? Like, it's not that I'm not winning. I'm sure other people classify me as winning. Company grows, we're doing great. But I'm like, yeah, but I'm not playing the game of who's winning or losing. So how can I ever lose? But to be immune to losing, you also have to completely withdraw the need to win. And only when you withdraw the need to win in this game of who's better than whose dick's better than whose dick, and or bigger than, not whose dick is better, bigger, right? Who has more money, who has the bigger brand, who's better than, like, when you withdraw that bullshit, that illusion, you also become immune to losing, the fear of not being enough and insecurities, and then you just leave the game And then you finally go, all right, I'm out of the game. And you go, Armin, what's the point of doing business or having goals or having a life? Everyone's just like, if you're so detached, what's the point of having a life? Well, first of all, meet me here and you will know inside your own self the truth of what's the point of life beyond this bullshit, these illusions. If you meet me here, if you can feel what I'm feeling, if you see what I've seen, you'll go, wow, life is much more than these illusions of winning and losing. But I will tell you this in a logical way. So your intellect, I could tickle your intellect for you. Because see, what I'm about to say is the truth that you can only feel. You cannot understand. Even if you try to understand, if you don't feel it, it's just an idea for you. It doesn't affect you. The affection of what I'm about to say is going to be in the understanding inside, the feeling of it. Beyond the illusions of winning and losing in this game, knowing when you know all of it's an illusion, none of it's you, none of it matters, see, only then can you actually play without suffering. Because if I know it's a basketball game between me and my friends and we're just playing for fun, I'm going to try trick shots, right? I'm going to do weird passes and have a good time laughing that I failed at it, right? You're going to play like an idiot because you want to just practice and there's no pressure. And then that way, every now and then, don't you throw a trick shot that goes and you go, wow, that was a good shot. But you would never see, if I told you it's an Olympic, not Olympic, it's a championship. Your whole life depends on this game. If you don't do this, you're a miserable loser. No one's going to like you. See, what happens is you'll be too paralyzed in fear to ever try that trick shot. You'll be too paralyzed in fear to ever take a leap of faith on yourself, ever go for that one jump, ever do that pass. So are you really playing? Are you really playing the sport if you're too afraid to do 80 to 90% of the creative side of you that wants to try things? In my opinion, if you go, but Armin, it's worth it because, if I win, I'm the biggest shit in the world. No problem. Go enjoy yourself. I mean, you'll reach the same points as I did. I'm just in a place where I really don't give a shit what the score is. I just want to play. And the more I want to play, the better I get because I'm just focused on playing the game to play the game, not to win. And a lot of people out there are like, no, I'm a winner. Well, and here's the only person that watches this goes, what Armin's saying doesn't mean anything because the only person I'll say that is because they think I'm losing or they're winning more than me. So you go, well, obviously, if Armin isn't winning the number one, he's going to say that. That's like saying only broke people would say spirituality is more important than money. And so here's my wisdom back to you for all those idiotic responses, because they are idiotic. You're just unconscious listening to me right now. If you're truly conscious sitting there right now, absolutely present with your own being, with your own sensations of life, you would know what I'm saying is the truth. Inside you in your soul, you know it's the truth. It's not because I've lost the game or losing the game. I've made enough money and more than enough to know it doesn't fucking matter. You go, Armin, but you only made 4 million, 4.5 million. Okay, if I make 40, you think it would change? If I make 400 million, you think my opinion would change? Will it matter? Here's the message I have for you. If you're watching this, here's my message. If you're trapped in this illusion of success and you've taken the taste out of life, the taste of life is the enjoying of doing life, not what you get from life. And here's my message to you. 1 million, 10 million, 100 million, 1 billion. Coffee still tastes the same in the morning.
What a powerful thought.
That's all you need to know.
Yes.
Coffee still tastes the same, Nilesh.
Yes.
$1 million, $10 million, $100 million. Whether you're Andrew Tate and everyone loves you around the world and hates you, or you're nobody on the side of the street, coffee still tastes the same, doesn't it? That's all I have to say.
That's really powerful, and I can say one of the best interview I am taking from my interview show from last 1.5 years of the show journey. And really powerful thought that you just shared. Like, failure is really something that actually teaches us. Success is literally pull you down, and your own success. Sometimes you got a lot of egoistic person. Like, I have this, I have that, I have that. I have XYZ sexist of what we can say, Mercedes, Jaguar, and whatsoever. And that's really.
This is what happens when you escape the trap.
Yes.
I've left my convertible Jaguar sports car. My first one was very close to me, dear to my heart. I had a sentimental. I bought it from my mentor.
Yeah.
I've left it in Miami for the last 7 months, just sitting in my friend's driveway. I'm sure he's driving. I don't really care. I haven't checked up on it. I'm still paying for it. $1,000 every month for the payment of the car.
Okay.
Every month I'm still paying for it, and I'm paying for insurance too. It's just sitting in Miami for the last 7 months. Now, even only yesterday I messaged him, hey man, is my car still there? Because I think my brother wants to ship it back to Canada so he can drive it. My sports car is being shipped around, playing hot potato between friends and family. This is how relaxed, calm, and peaceful you become when you have abundance, when you're completely detached from the game, and you're not playing to win or to lose. This is what I'm trying to say. A lot of people their whole life goal is just to be able to afford that car, or to get the car so everyone can think they're better than others who have the car. You won't admit it, but that's what it is. The ego's like, I'm better than you. Look at my car. I'm sitting here. My car has been sitting for 7 months. I'm paying for this thing in my friend's driveway. I haven't once checked up on it. You're going, that's very careless. I go, no, see, because all of my caringness is going into what really matters. My own heart, my own spirits, my own life, not the fucking things I have. And I'm just being serious. Most people are worried about the scratch on their car. They don't even think about the scratch on their mind when they worry about the scratch on the car. So my point is this: you want to be totally detached. And when you don't need anything, everything wants you. That's another one you can write down. When you don't need anything, everything wants you.
Yes, yes.
I don't need more money. Money just coming to me. I don't need more clients. My clients just show up. It's not always perfect. I'm saying it just happens much more than when I try so hard to go find these things. I didn't need a big villa. Nicest villa I ever got came out of my life out of nowhere. Now I'm living I feel like I'm in a resort. I didn't even try to look for this thing. I just say, I'm in a good place, whatever. Sure, I have the money. Let's go. Let's do this. And so these things just happen. The concept of hard work doesn't exist in this dimension, the dimension I'm working from. And it's that I'm working out of duty, not out of ego. I'm not working to be someone or to prove something or to get something. I'm working because I feel it's an obligation in my duty, my moral obligation to do. If I have these skills, shouldn't I give it to people? Shouldn't I help the team if I can? Should I help the clients with their goals if I know how? Would it not be selfish to sit down and just do it for myself? It's work out of a place of spirit, out of a place of love. And that's a spirit of duty. In the Eastern Indian culture, in the Bhagavad Gita, I've been studying this too. Wow. It says a lot about devotional service is the highest form of service to God. Devotional service. Your whole life is devoted to. What do you need to do next for who? That's it. Same thing happens in the Christians. Same thing happens in the Quran. Everything's about service. The highest level of living is being in devotional service. Every religion actually talks about this. Every spiritual person talks about this. Devotional service, which means there is no attachment to what is in it for you. But here's the beauty of this world today. If you just live this way, everything you ever want for you is going to come. And I'll say this now, Nilesh, so I don't make anyone feel bad that might be wanting goals right now. I'm not saying for everyone to renounce their desires in life. I have a lot of desires in life. Yes. I'm just not stressed about getting them. That's all. And so that way it happens easier. But I will say this, I think there's a wisdom in first getting into your trap to understand the trap. Right. So don't avoid success because of this. Just go in consciously, knowing, success is a trap. Armin said this. Okay, I'm ready. But my point is, it's okay to want these things, and it's okay to be angry about your situation, wanting to do all the things that I'm saying is essentially unconsciousness. I think there's a wisdom in doing those mistakes so you can introduce yourself to them, understand, there you are. Just like the Buddha. The Buddha has a moment where he's sitting there under the tree and all his egos and desires comes to him and all these attachments trying to tempt him. And at the end of it, he just sits there with a smile and he goes, my dear ego, you are an illusion. And he just fades away. This is how we have to come to in life. This enlightenment is where we need to get to. That doesn't mean, yes. You know Sadhguru's Nilesh? Sadhguru?
Yes, I am following him.
Amazing person. See, when he speaks, he even says it's not the detachment of desire that's the goal. We're not saying to completely not want to live life. We're talking about full involvement with life. Full involvement is I can still build a business. I can still go make money. I can still want things. I can still want to have muscle. I can still want to attract women or have a love life or whatever it is. It's not that I'm going to say, I don't want these things. Is why I'm spiritual. It's that I want all these things consciously. That's why I'm spiritual. It's not that a lot of people think spiritualism is the path on going to eliminate all problems from your life and to make all the things you don't want go away and only have the things you want. They think that's what spiritualism is. Spiritualism is not that at all. Spiritualism is accepting all of life exactly the way it is. It's not dissecting the good from the bad. That's not spiritualism. Spiritualism is I accept all of life exactly the way it is. I love and accept my ego this way. I love and accept my desires. I love and accept my anger, my attachments, my detachments, everything. And when you become fully involved with all of it, you are absolutely immune to all things that are bad. You're always feeling blissful and joyful. Even if bad things happen, you're feeling blissful about it. Like, it's just so cool. Look at this. I'm upset. And that's how you live, fully involved with life. So if you want to go into the success trap, go in, just do it consciously. Never should anything I say should be a reason why someone goes, okay, I'm not going to do that now. I hope that that's not what anyone ever gets from what I say. I hope that when you hear me, you go, okay, so I'm going to go do that, but now I know it's going to happen. I am conscious about it. I'm aware of it because that is how you live life fully. You don't cut life into half or into pieces. That's not living fully. You just learn how to bite all of it, piece by mouth, bite by bite in a conscious way. And not be reactive. Oh no, I didn't want this to happen. No, when you get into the success trap and you lose it all, because you will. It's it's natural law. You will lose everything you have at least once in your life after you gain everything you have at least once in your life. It's just, without doing that, you never lived. So don't be afraid of this. Just go, oh, interesting. I'm going to go into it consciously. So when the downfall comes, the bad part, the rock bottom, sit there with excitement. Oh, this is the part. This is the part where I lose everything. It's so cool. And you go, no, but I want to make it really short. I want it to last 6 minutes. Why? What's the rush? Do you not want to learn? Because failure is where you grow. Failure is the opportunity. Don't forget, success is the trap. You're so in a rush to go back to the illusion of success. Are you so in a rush? I'm not in a rush. You have to be like this. In the water, the waves get very heavy. Instead of trying to swim through it, and you're choking, when the waves start to grow and the falls are harder and harder and it's scarier and scarier, just lay back like a starfish and let it take you. Just lay back. I was in the ocean yesterday. That's why I'm burnt. I just lay back in the ocean. Waves were very heavy. I was just sitting there like this. I said, oh, look, it's carrying me now. Then when the waters calmed down, I went and made some splash myself. This is me and the ocean playing together. In this way, you should be playing with life like this. It throws you some success. You go, success, look at you. You're not real. Coffee still tastes the same. Then when failure comes, go, failure, how are you? This is so exciting. You bring the drama into my life. The drama makes it exciting. Let me go with this now. What's next? This one wants to refund. That person wants to leave. My mom wants to disown me. Oh, this is so cool. Girlfriend wants to leave me. Boyfriend cheated on me. Oh, it's so amazing. Let's go. But see, you suffer because you go, no, it shouldn't be this way. He shouldn't have cheated on me. Business shouldn't have made $5 less than last month, or else I'm a failure. My mom should support me. All this should. You should all over yourself. All this should be there. So you can't accept how life is happening. That's why you suffer. If you just simply accept everything the way it's happening, you'll never suffer. Everything is just like you're letting the waves take you. You go, but Armin, that's so scary. I'm not in control anymore. Here's my message to you, my dear friend. You never were in control. Failure is just reminding you that. Yeah. You go, but Armin, this can't be true. We're human beings. We have control. Of course we do. Yeah. Okay. So tell me, you have a heart, correct? Nilesh, you have a heart? It's beating right now, right?
Right. Yes.
Just for 2 seconds, I want you to tell it to stop beating. You can't do it, can you?
It is not.
Tell it to beat a little faster. Can you manipulate it too? Yes. But can you tell it, beat 100 times? No, you can't do that, right? Yeah. But tell me, if this heart stopped working right now, without your consent, what happens to you?
I might be not able to talk with you.
Yes, you'll be dead.
Yes, I'm dead.
Your lungs are the reason why you're breathing and actually having oxygen inside you. Let's just for a moment, these lungs stop working. You can't control these lungs, but they stop working. What happens to you? You collapse.
Yeah.
If your digestive system stops working for about 1 week, what happens to you? You die from internal toxification. All of the thing building up, you die. People who go into surgery and take morphine, they don't poop for weeks. This is actually what kills them. Eventually, the body is just intoxicated from inside. So tell me, all of these organs that are keeping you alive, the very essence, the very source of your living is not even in your control. How much control do you have then? You tell me this.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. You don't control what's happening to you. You don't control what happens from what you do. You don't control even the very thing in your body that's keeping you alive. But you know, there's only one thing God gave us control over. And this is in the very ancient story of Adam and Eve. When we ate from the apple, he gave us the power of choice through free will.
Right.
Just the freedom of choice is the only thing he gave us control over. What does this mean? Even in ancient scriptures, we know the only thing, we don't control our breathing, we don't control our heartbeat, we don't control our living, we don't control how we were born, where we were born, what we were born of. We don't control what we look like, the way we were born, the way we look. We don't control when we die. We don't control any of this. So you better know, if you don't control those natural things of life, you of course don't control where you end up in your life, what happens to you in the market, what the world's going to do, what someone will do to you. But the only thing you do control, and even control I use lightly, maybe direct or have a handle on, because not just 100% you, is your freedom of choice. What you choose to do with it all. You choose to keep breathing or you choose to stop breathing. You choose to like this, you choose to not like it. You choose to accept what's happening, you choose to reject what's happening. And these choices is the only tool God gave mankind, and that is the tool of power. See, a tree can't wake up today and go, I don't want to be a tree anymore, I want to be a dandelion. It doesn't work this way. Lion wakes up, I really like the cheetah, he's fast, I'm going to be a cheetah. This doesn't work this way. Maybe they have some consciousness in them. A dog will sit down and remember you. I'm not saying they're unconscious creatures. But tell me, have you ever seen a dog, you come home and they're planning out their week? No, because there's a level of soul and consciousness in them. Right. They need to have the freedom of choice. No, they won't, but they're reactive to instincts. So the further away from God we go, the more like animals we become. The closer to God we go, the more like God we become, which is we have the power to create through choice. Isn't that something to chew on? So what I'm saying as an entrepreneur, or as anyone in your life, as a mom or as a dad, as a husband and father, a husband and wife, or kid to your parents, just hear me when I say this. The only choice you've ever had, and you always will have, is choosing what you do with what's happened. Choosing. And I mean this in a broader sense than just, you can't choose what happens to you, but you can choose what you do about what happens. This is just a personal development quote. I'm talking about the essence of your life is the very fact that the only thing that makes you who you are is your choices. It's the essence, the truth of life is what I'm saying. Choice was the only thing God gave us. So you got to sit there and go, Armin, when I say, but let go of everything and just flow with the waves, it's so scary. What if a shark comes and eats you? What if the wave takes you into a rock? I go, then that was supposed to happen. And that's the beautiful relationship you're supposed to have with the divine, which is you can't distrust what was supposed to happen. Let it happen. You go, but Armin, then it's not your life. It is your life. Because see, if a shark comes and bites off my leg, now I have a choice. Become bitter about this for the rest of my life, or use it as a story to change my life. And there's literally people that have been, their arm got cut off from a shark, and they started an organization to help the sharks because they feel bad for the sharks because everyone misunderstood them. See, this is a choice. My point is that your destiny is in your choices, not in the events that happen, not in your circumstances, not in your events, not in your illusion of control. If you just choose always love in all situations, I want to love what's happening, I want to love the person who's doing this, and you choose acceptance, you will live a life as close as you can to what God would be like if he was in human form right now. Absolutely immune to all beautiful things. No matter what happens, it's good. It feels great. I love this. Even the bad feelings feel good because you're always choosing to love it and to accept it. And you go with this. Life becomes delicious when you live this way. I'll tell you this, even if you get everything right in your life and you do everything perfectly under your control and logically you built your whole life, have you not met those people? Every one of us have met someone who's controlled their whole life, very, very intellectual person. Everything is a certain way, and they got it too. They duped God. You would say they cheated the system. Everything's perfect. Tell me, when you meet that person, do you feel essence of love and radiation coming out of them? Do you feel the universe flowing through them? Oh, hell no. Stop it. They're like a walking cardboard, walking around like everything. I met a guy actually just this past week. He came over to my house. He's a friend of mine. He came over to my house and he just started crying. In my back, he's like, I need to talk to him. I'm like, okay. He's sitting on my balcony and he starts crying. Now, this is a very intelligent man. He always thinks about everything, always analyzing everything. Everything is about up here, nothing here, very little here. Mm-hmm. But since he met me, I started opening up his heart. I'm saying, if you're always thinking, when do you live? Because you're not living in your thoughts. Thoughts are not you. So if you're always thinking about everything, when are you living in this life you're thinking about? And I start opening up his mind a little so he can start feeling his heart again. He came to my house. I've only known him for maybe about 6 months now. He came to my house yesterday, just 2 days ago, maybe. Starts crying. He goes, I want to thank you because ever since we met, you've helped me realize I don't feel enough. He goes, I don't remember the last time I cried, but all I can feel now is that I need to just cry. I don't even know for what. I just want to cry. And I looked at him. I said, isn't that beautiful? Just feeling. It feels so good to feel. Who cares if you're right about what you think? But doesn't it feel so good to feel? And he was just sitting there crying. He's like, you've changed my life, man. I said, no, see, God is changing your life. He changed my life. My life change has just affected you. You're sitting here, you're just remembering who you really are, what you really are. And you're not your thoughts. You're not your body. You're not your organs. You're not your life situation. You're not your title. You're not your identity. You're not what you have. You're none of that. That's what you are. Is that consciousness behind all of it. And your sensations are the closest bridge between all this illusion and what you really are. So diving more into the feelings of your sensations of life is doing the way you feel more alive. I remember looking at this man, I'm like, here's the guy who spent his whole life analyzing everything and thinking he's right. And suddenly he realized, I have been living wrong this whole time. I'm not even living. And it traced all the way back to what? Early in his childhood, someone in his family distrusted him. They lied to him and it ruined his future, his dreams. And he said, I'm like, see, you're not an intelligent person. You're not a thinker, an analyzer. You know how people do that? Oh, I'm just a thinker. She's the feeler. Like, that's what they do. No, you're afraid. That's what you are. If all you do is think, you're just afraid. If you always want to analyze people before you make a decision, you're just afraid. If you don't know how to trust anyone or have faith, you're just afraid. And he admitted this to me. He goes, I've just been afraid. I've been afraid to be lied to again. So everyone I meet, I don't trust anyone. I'm like, you trust no one. I'm like, how exhausting is it that you trust nobody in your life? Just because one person lost your trust. I'm like, you decide to close your heart and not feel anything again. So therefore, the deliciousness of life has not been touching your tongue. You've just been living your life in your head this whole time thinking you're living it right. So it should feel good, but you reach the conclusion, the breakthrough of realizing the revelation is no matter how much it makes sense of how I'm living is right, it doesn't feel like anything yet. And if it doesn't feel good, what are you feeling at all? And if you're not feeling anything, are you even living?
What I can say now, literally a powerful thoughts you shared with us in this 15-20 minutes or more than that span. And the biggest thing is it's all our mind and our own choices. Like, what is the one thing that I choose to become, what I want to be? I only want to show up like I am the only king, or I want to become a person who is here to serve, to make impact, and to give more to the society, to the community. And that's how we are standing out. Literally means the people who is going to watch this until this point are actually going to get the essence of this particular journey of yours, like how you hit the milestone in your business. It's not just the numbers, it's all about our own changes. Like in one of your interview, you also mentioned this one thing while I'm doing research about you. Like I am the high ticket. I am not somebody who is selling high ticket. I am the high ticket. That means you are changing each and everything in yourself, your mindset, your thinking pattern, your belief system, each and everything that you just show us in this last 15 minutes. And it's really powerful. Only one word I have, which is really powerful.
I
Thank
hope
you
it
so
reaches
much.
the hearts. I hope it reaches the hearts of the people listening.
Yes.
If only you could feel what I feel, the truth of life would just be radiating inside you. And I really hope that I wish that for everyone.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Armin, for sharing such a great pieces of nugget with us in this particular interview. And literally, I learned so many things. And I can say it is the best of the best episode I get on my interview show. From last 60 plus episodes we have, and 1.5 year in this journey, I can say definitely it is the best of the best episode I get on the Entrepreneurs Warrior Show. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for sharing and giving everything that you have. I can say you share each and everything that you have in you. You didn't keep anything with you, like you most of the time what people think, like, if I can give, so what people are going to buy from me, why they are going to buy. But you open your heart and serve to the community, to serve to the people, and that's what your mission is, to serve community, to build community.
Nilesh, with the internet having taken over the world and now AI replacing a lot of the human elements of life,
yes,
I think now more than ever, this world needs more loving, more hearts opened, and more consciousness. Very soon we will realize, no matter how sophisticated we build these systems around us, they cannot replace the essence of what life is supposed to mean to a human being. And that day comes, I think I'll be very ready to help this world come back to consciousness. In the meantime, though, to save yourself some suffering, please don't ever believe that these systems and these things happening in this life is here to replace things or supplement things in your life. Maybe not even here to improve your way of living, because how can an AI or a piece of internet telling me how to improve my way of living? It can only entertain the intellect. So you get more work done in less time, you make more money. These are just intellectual constructs. None of these are real. They're all illusions. The only time you start living your life in a very beautiful way is when you're feeling your way through this and learning to listen to the feelings and learning to listen to God, because God speaks to the feelings, does not speak to the head. A very controversial topic, but that's a whole nother interview. You cannot reach God in your intellect or your thoughts. So the ones who I think are the funniest the most and I love the most is the ones who are scholars and they read the scriptures and they go, I know everything about God. See, knowing of God is not the same thing as knowing God. So don't let these things in this world take you away from the very spirit that's within you and that is in the essence of all existence. Play the game without caring about winning or losing. I don't need anyone to buy anything from me. I'm not on the interview as a strategy. I told my team, simply put me on stages. I have a message placed inside me that I need to share. It's not even my doing. I need to make sure, something is telling me I need to share this message. Okay, so give me the stages. I'll share the message. I'm sure someone needs to hear it this summer. So do you really think I come here with an agenda? If you buy something, will I make money? Of course I'll make money. If you buy something, will my team make money? Of course. But you also make a lot of things back as well. That transaction has nothing to do with why I'm here. So thank you for noticing that, and appreciate you having me on the show.
Really, thank you, and really grateful to have you. And you literally share lots of golden nuggets. Thank you so much, Armin, once again for being a part of the Entrepreneurs Warrior Show. And guys, if you are here till this point, that means you are someone who is literally are the people who is an action taker. At the same time, you are believing in true spirituality and understanding that what it takes. So that's the point. And please show your love to Armin in the comment section and fill this entire comment section with the love of yours. And yeah, Armin, before we close the session, where can people connect with you and follow you to learn more from you?
I respond to everyone on my Instagram myself. No one's working on my Instagram, so the Armin Shafee. Or you can just look up howtogetcoaching.com on Instagram. I'm sure my name will pop up. I'm on Facebook, just Armin Shafee. Or if neither one of those are findable, my website's howtogetcoaching.com. And you can always check us out there in group. So yeah, I'd love to talk to anyone. Anyone have questions about these kind of things, you just DM me on Instagram and I'll respond. My team works on my Facebook, so if you have interested in that stuff, you just go there. So yeah. I'll drop all the links in the description. Go ahead and check out his content. Definitely you are going to love it as you are learning from him in this interview. So thank you so much, everybody. Once again, thanks a lot. Thank you so much for watching this interview till this point. If you are still watching me, I'm damn sure you get a lot of values from this interview. And if you're someone who is thinking that you want to start
your interview show where you are able to get the opportunity to talk with this kind of people, where you are get an opportunity to talk with this kind of guest on your show, where you are able to invite this kind of people, I am always happy to help you to start your interview show. You can just drop interview in the comment section, or you can just reach out to me in the messenger. That's what you have to do. All the link you are going to find on description itself. All you have to do is just reach out to me. I'm just one message away, and starting an interview show is help you to get a lot of visibility, a lot of growth in your business. So just reach out to me. I'm just one message away, and looking forward to serve you. Stay tuned here. Thank you so much for being in part of this community. Bye bye.